Use my code PAID10 to get 10% off your next order of Advanced GG. What is the god roll for the new Ahab Char auto rifle in Destiny 2's Edge of Fate? And is it worth going after? That's what we're going to be reviewing in today's Destiny 2 video. We're going to go over the perks, we're going to go over the stats, so you guys can determine whether or not this weapon is worth checking out. As always, if you guys are into videos like this, consider subscribing, and now let's get into it.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Like the video. Come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
So first of all, how do you get the Ahab Char? Well, it drops from the Edge of Fate campaign, and you can also pull this from the Season Pass rewards. So as long as you have Edge of Fate, it is not that hard to get. Now, this is a legendary energy auto rifle. It does solar damage, and it is a rapid fire frame, firing at 720 rounds per minute, has depot ammo reserves, and slightly faster reload when the magazine is empty. Now, here are some other rapid fire auto rifles that we have in Destiny 2. We actually have another rapid fire that just dropped in the Edge of Fate called the Giver's Blessing. We've got the Chroma Rush, a fan favorite. It's been around since Season of the Splicer, another very good rapid fire. And we have the Crate auto rifle. And if we take a look at all of the stats, the Ahab Char doesn't really have the best stats, and it doesn't really have the worst stats. It's somewhere in the middle. The Giver's Blessing, the other new rapid fire frame in the Edge of Fate, beats it on stats in a lot of categories. But the Giver's Blessing is kinetic, and the Ahab Char is solar. So the Ahab Char is going to come with a bunch of solar perks that I think that makes this very worthwhile. And the Ahab Char does have a very interesting basic origin trait, Brave Legacy. Damage with this weapon generates a small amount of ability energy for the one closest to a full charge. Now, this origin trait was originally on some of the Vesper's Host dungeon weapons, and as you can see right here, they have some of the number values for the ability energy regain, and it is very minimal. On the Pyro Electric Propellant auto rifle from the Vesper's Host dungeon, as you can see right here, it's only giving you 0.2% ability energy back when you damage an enemy. So it's not the most powerful origin trait we have, but hey, it's better than nothing. Now, in that first column of trait perks, we have Transcendent Moment, Subsistence, Heal Clip, Recycled Energy, Perpetual Motion, Proximity Power, and Grave Robber. Transcendent Moment states that final blows grant stats based on the weapon's damage type alignment, light elements grant stability and handling, and dark elements grant range and aim assist. While Transcendent, this weapon gets both bonuses. Now, if all this does is grant bonuses to your weapon stats, I feel like this is more aimed towards PvP. So if you're a PvE player, I definitely would not go with this perk. We also have Subsistence. Defeating targets partially reloads the magazine. Weapon kills refill 10% of the magazine from reserves. Submachine guns and auto rifle kills refill 17% of its magazine. This is definitely a very good perk in PvE. Then, since this is a solar weapon, it also comes with Heal Clip. Reloading shortly after dealing a final blow grants cure to you and your nearby allies. So this is going to grant you cure ×2 and cure ×1 to your allies who are within 15 meters of you. This is one of the strongest solar perks in the game, because remember, one stack of cure is going to get you 60 HP. We also have Recycled Energy. Reloading after defeating targets grants energy to your lowest charged ability. I don't know anybody who actually uses this perk, so I would skip on that. We've also got Perpetual Motion. This weapon gains bonus stability, handling, and reload speed while the wielder is in motion. Each stack provides 10 stability, 10 handling, and 10 reload speed. Then we have a brand new trait perk called Proximity Power. When targets are nearby, final blows grant bonus melee stat. This definitely sounds very interesting. It's a new perk. We don't actually know how much melee stat you get from the enemies being nearby, but if you guys are down for those melee builds, this could be a very strong perk for you. Then you have Grave Robber. Melee final blows or dealing damage with a charged melee reloads this weapon's magazine from reserves. This is a decent perk, but if I was going to go for a reload perk in this column, I would probably just stick with Subsistence. Now, for the last column, you have Adagio, Binary Orbit, Kill Clip, High Impact Reserves, Eye of the Storm, Swashbuckler, and Burning Ambition. Adagio is actually a pretty good perk. After defeating a target, this weapon fires more slowly and deals increased damage for a brief time. After you get a kill, you get the buff for 7 seconds and it gives you plus 10 range, 30% increased damage, and 20% a longer firing delay. Since the Ahab Char is a rapid fire frame, I think Adagio would be pretty good on this. Yes, it will slow the fire rate, but you're already firing so fast that you probably won't notice it too much. Then we have a new trait called Binary Orbit. Elemental final blows opposite this weapon increase damage for a short duration. Darkness final blows boost arc, solar, and void weapons. Light final blows boost stasis, strand, and kinetic. Then you have a fan favorite kill clip. Reloading after a kill grants increased damage, and that is a 25% increased damage for 5 seconds. Good in PvP, it's good in PvE. And speaking of PvP, this auto rifle has a base 0.75 second time to kill, requiring 10 headshots. But when you get kill clip active, it drops it down to 0.58 seconds, only requiring 8 headshots. So a half a second time to kill in the Crucible when kill clip is up, that is going to be very nasty. Then up next you have high impact reserves. Rounds at the end of the magazine deal more damage. This is a decent perk, but I kind of like it better on special weapons. Then we have Eye of the Storm. This weapon becomes more accurate and boosts handling as your health gets lower. The buff at maximum strength grants you 30 handling, 40% decreased accuracy cone size, 17% decreased accuracy cone growth. Eye of the Storm is a very good perk in the Crucible when you are fighting other Guardians. I wouldn't really bother with this in PvE though. Then we have Swashbuckler. This weapon gains increased damage from melee kills and kills with this weapon. So each time you get a kill, it's going to scale in damage, stacks up to 5 times, or you can just get 1 melee kill and it will automatically jump up to 5 stacks. And at 5 stacks, this gives you a 33.3% increase to your damage. Then finally, we have Burning Ambition, a new trait perk. Dealing sustained damage scorches the target. Dealing damage to a scorched target inflicts scorch. Now at first I didn't really like this perk, Burning Ambition. I thought that Incandescent was better because Incandescent spreads scorch more consistently, I think, because every time you get a kill they'll just explode and spread scorch. And when it comes to this auto rifle, I felt like the enemies were dying before I could actually get this perk to proc. So they weren't even scorching. But where this perk does come in handy are those beefier orange and yellow bar targets. That is where you're going to get the most out of it because obviously they're not going to die fast. So you'll be able to proc Burning Ambition on those beefier targets. And what's really cool about this is that this season on the artifact we have Overload auto rifles. So we're going to be able to stun Overload champions with this auto rifle. And on top of that, if you have Burning Ambition, you'll also be able to stun unstoppable champions, because obviously an unstoppable champion is not going to die really quick with auto rifle damage. So the longer that you shoot the unstoppable with this auto rifle, he's going to scorch and eventually ignite, and ignitions stun unstoppable champions. So this Burning Ambition perk actually gets stronger the harder the content that you're in, which is pretty nice. So Guardians, what is the god roll? Well, for the Crucible, Hammerforged Rifling for a little bit more range, slap on Ricochet rounds for a little bit more range and stability. I would go with Heal Clip, so if you win your gunfights you can just reload and come out with more health for the next gunfight. And then I would go with Kill Clip for that half a second time to kill. I would also be shooting for a range masterwork, and then something like a ballistics mod to increase the range and stability even more. With all those perks you're going to get 55 range, 65 stability, 70 aim assist, and you'll be able to hit up to 28 meters in the Crucible before damage drop off. And for that PvE god roll, I would still go with Hammerforged Rifling and Ricochet rounds. I would stick with Heal Clip because Heal Clip is just one of the best perks in the game for Solar. It's kind of hard to beat, getting all that extra health just for getting 1 kill. And then I would go with Burning Ambition. Burning Ambition is kind of what makes this auto rifle unique. It's a new trait perk. It's not on a lot of weapons yet. And like I said, for this season anyways, you'll be able to stun overloads and unstoppables with this. And then go with a reload speed masterwork and probably a backup mag for your mod. So Guardians, those are my thoughts and opinions on what the god roll is for the Ahab Char auto rifle. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. What roll are you going for? What roll do you already have? Let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.